Let's Boltzmann a page at a time, number 5, convergence order. In this section, we want to show that the Lattice-Boltzmann method is second order accurate and what we mean by this. So we start with our space-time diagram where we have these lattice nodes and we draw only one space dimension x. The other space dimensions cannot be drawn in this diagram. Instead, we draw the time dimension in this direction and we have the particles going in time and in space. And here we have, of course, a time step, delta t, and we have a grid spacing, delta x. And now in order to derive the governing partial differential equation that we solve with this, where we use asymptotic analysis, we use diffusive scaling. When we use diffusive scaling, what we mean is that delta x is regarded to be proportional to a smallness parameter epsilon, and delta t is proportional to a smallness parameter epsilon square, and epsilon is larger than 0. Now with this and with asymptotic expansion, which we do not show here in this section, but which you can see in the complete lecture, number 6, we see that we get out the velocity of our simulation is composed of the 0 order component epsilon by the power of 0 times a velocity to the 0th order plus epsilon to the by the power of 1 times first order contribution plus epsilon to the power of 2 is u second order, and so on. And we also get a density rho as epsilon to the power of 0, rho 0 plus epsilon to the power of 1, rho 1 plus epsilon square, the second order of the density, and so on and so on. And then by means of asymptotic analysis, we can derive for this the Navier-Stokes equation, which comes out in the following form, that we have a dt u. Now this is the vector because it contains all the components, u by the first order plus u by the first order scalar product nabla first order, so this is the material derivative, and this is equal to minus cs square nabla to rho the second order plus the viscosity times Laplace u to the first order. So this is the Navier-Stokes equation that we get out of the asymptotic analysis. And in principle, it would also be possible to derive the governing equations for the second order of velocity and the third order of the density, but this is very difficult. Now we want to see these higher order terms, the second order terms, in with a simpler method. And for this, we first recognize that the Navier-Stokes equation, the equation that we want to solve, chirality blind, which means it does not distinguish between a left-handed coordinate system and a right-handed coordinate system. So I always are compelled to draw the right-handed coordinate system to the left, so I start a little bit further to the right so that I don't do this. A right-handed coordinate system, for example, may look like this. Yeah, so this would be a right-handed coordinate system. It's the different x, y, z components, and the left-handed coordinate system would then, for example, look like this, and the Navier-Stokes equation can't tell you whether it's stated in the left-handed or the right-handed coordinate system. So it works in the mirror in the same way as the in the original form. And the same can also be said about the Lattice-Boltzmann method. So if we put the Lattice-Boltzmann method in a mirror, what happens is that we have our coordinates, we have our lattice nodes, and we have distributions moving, and all of this looks exactly the same, only that now the direction x, which we write with a small dash, is going in the other direction, whereas time still goes in the same direction. Now in this we have a delta x, a new delta x, and a new delta t. And this we want to express by a new smallness parameter, which we call now epsilon with this dash. And we do something that mathematicians don't like. We say that this epsilon is smaller than 0. Because if this epsilon is smaller than 0, we can actually express this mirror image by saying that this new epsilon is the negative epsilon from the original case. So what this would mean is that delta x in the new coordinate system, in the left-handed coordinate system, is minus the delta x in the right-handed coordinate system. However, delta t in the new coordinate system, because this is proportional to epsilon dash square, which is minus epsilon square, means that this stays the same. So there's no change in the time step. So Lattice-Boltzmann also, because it looks exactly the same in the left-handed or the right-handed coordinate system, is also chirality blind. And this we use for now seeing what this does to our convergence order. Namely, we look what changes in the mirror what changes in the mirror. If we put everything in the mirror, then the original velocity will become minus the previous velocity. So what is going to the left is now going to the right, right? However, the density looks the same in the left-handed coordinate system and in the right-handed coordinate system. Okay, so these are the outcomes of the simulation, or the results that we produce, and the result is again here expanded in terms of epsilon. So from I equal to 0 to infinity, we expand the velocity in epsilon, and this is equal to minus I equal to 0 to infinity. Now our epsilon dash to the power of I, and here we have u of the order of I. So why is this the same velocity as in the other coordinate system? This is because the Lattice-Boltzmann method does not distinguish between these two coordinate systems. Yeah, so we get the same result, but if we replace this epsilon with the original epsilon, which is just the negative of it, so we have minus epsilon by the power of I into u by the power of I, by the order of I. So what we do next is equating coefficients. And we know that epsilon, now this original epsilon, is larger than 0, but it's otherwise arbitrary. Yeah, so it has to be true for any epsilon, and this means we can compare each order of the epsilon by itself. So we will have epsilon by the power of 0 into u order 0, and this is equal to minus epsilon by the power of 0, which is of course 1, yeah, epsilon to the order of 0. So you see this gives us that u to the 0th order is minus u to the 0th order, and this is only true if u to the 0th order is equal to 0. At the next order, epsilon by the power 1, we have u by the first order is minus epsilon to the power of 1, u first order. So these two minuses, they cancel each other, so this is obviously true. And at the next order, which is actually the interesting part, epsilon square, u to the second order is equal to minus epsilon to the second order, u square. So minus epsilon to the square is of course epsilon square, and because there's a minus in between, this means that this would only be true if u to the second order will be 0. And this is important because u to the second order is the first leading order error after our solution u to the first order. Yeah? So if this is 0, the method is second order accurate for the velocity. Now is this also true for the density? Let's look at the density. So the density, if we expand the density, we have from I equal to 0 to infinity of rho without dash is epsilon by the power of I, rho, the order I, and this is, according to the equation that we have here, equal to I equal to from 0 to infinity epsilon dash by the power of I, rho I, and this is again the same as from I0 to infinity minus epsilon to the power of I, rho of the order I. Now again, equating coefficients for this gives us the following. We have epsilon to the power 0 times the order 0 of rho is equal to minus epsilon to the power 0, which again is equal to 1. And this times the order 0 of rho. And because epsilon to the power of 0 and minus epsilon to the power of 0 are both 1, this is correct. So at the next order, epsilon to the power of 1, rho by the order 1 is equal to minus epsilon by the power of 1, rho by the power of 1. So this again can only be true if rho to the first order is equal to 0. And in this next order, epsilon to the power of 2, rho the second order minus epsilon square rho to the second order. This again, minus epsilon square is equal to epsilon square, so this is correct. And here this is actually the result that we use for computing the pressure. And then at the next higher order, epsilon to the third order, rho third order is equal to minus epsilon to the third order to a cube, and this rho third order, this again would only be true if rho third order is equal to 0, and this is also important because rho to the third order is of course the leading order error of the method. So we see that both in the velocity and in the density the leading order error is eliminated, so the method is better than first order accurate, and it is at least second order accurate if it solves the Navier-Stokes equation, which by asymptotic analysis we have already shown.